My name's Brian and welcome back to Desert Theory. Well, Kelly's gone this week, so we didn't have to work Thursday night. I'm gonna be working kind of throughout Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Got a bunch of family events I'm working around. Got some kind of neat projects though. The fifth wheel, gonna get the backing plates off of that. Gonna get the new drums on, new everything. Gonna completely redo those brakes. They just keep getting too tight. BFG, we're putting the new Baja TAs. We're gonna put those on the Class 5. We're selling that and want to sell it with good tires. That's what we got. Let's get started. So I just pulled this drum off of here, and supposedly this trailer only has about 3,000 to 5,000 miles on it. Everything on the inside looks like they didn't use it. But there's just zero left on the brake pads. There's nothing. It's just down to the pad. This thing's been super hot. The inside of the drum is really worn down. I don't know. I really don't know what to say. It's just junk as far as I'm concerned. So I'm gonna go get brand new backing plates, brakes, drums, and just throw all this junk away. So yeah, I think I found one of the problems. Okay, just got back from the parts store. Got them all here. If anybody's looking for a really fun way to spend $916, this isn't it. Okay, so first of all, by no means is this a how-to on how to do this. I probably should have watched the how-to on before I started doing it. So there is a separate one for each side, left hand and right hand. So I got the left hand side on here. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not the best at doing bearings. So what I usually do is I'll leave the center cap off. I'll put these on. I'll run it around a little bit. I'll make sure they don't get too hot. And then I'll jack it up one more time and make sure I don't feel any play side to side. But usually it's pretty close. I usually one per trailer that is not quite right, and I have to either loosen or tighten just a touch. But that's how I do it. I know it's not the right way, but it's just the way I do it. All right, so here we go. I'm just gonna take this brake clean real quick. I'm gonna wipe down the inside of this hub and these races, just to make sure everything's clean. Not a bunch of junk floating around in there. It all looks good. Okay, now I have my bearings. They have been cleaned out. We got the grease off of them, let them dry. Now what I'm gonna do is just take a little bit of grease. I'm gonna put that in the palm of my hand, and I'm gonna start taking this bearing and kind of pushing down into it. Just gonna try and pack the back of that bearing as with much grease as I can. So they make kind of some bearing packers and some other things, but we don't have any, so this is how we do it. Okay, so you can see front and back are packed. Now I'm gonna try and move this thing around as much as I can. So move that, and then I'm gonna look and just make sure, and then I'll actually just do it one more time no matter what. But so just a matter of trying to get all those voids filled and all that grease in there. And then we'll pump some extra grease in after they're on. So that bearing just sits right down in there on that race. Looks good. Now we just have our seal. They only go one way, right? So we got that seal down in there. Just gonna tap it a few times, kind of get it somewhat square. And then just take a piece of wood. So again, this is just like the race car, so you've already seen this. So that bearing sits down in there, and then this seal is what goes around the axle, and that keeps water out and grease in. And okay, and then just kind of the same thing again. Gonna put that grease back in the palm of the hand and try and get it packed into that bearing. you know, sometimes I'm out here working on stuff and I just get a little frustrated. I'm like, I don't want to be working on this. I don't want to be working on the RV. I don't want to be doing brakes. I want to be working on my race car. And then I think about Kelly's dad, Bobby, and what he wasn't afraid to tackle. And to see him come back to the shop with stuff like this. Bobby wasn't afraid to get a double-decker bus and talk about being living quarters upstairs and a race car downstairs. And I think, just do the brakes. See it. You can see this huge groove in the drum. So just junk. Another 3,000 miles. Pretty amazing. 3,000 miles. That's a heck of a run. Be proud of that. You can just kind of see this grease is just, it's been hot. It's not as red as it usually is when we change our stuff. It's just hotter, but I still think the bearings are okay. So we're gonna run them, just check them a little more. Okay, got the last one back together here. All I really have to do now at this point is go up and down the road, just kind of run them, make sure I didn't get anything too tight. I've been known to do that with the bearings. So I'll just do that real quick. And I also need to wire all the trailer brakes. Got a little distracted, took a little bit longer out here than I was expecting. My friend Kelly Reed came out. She didn't want to be on camera, but we have driver names on the car finally. Man, every time I get this thing out of the shop and get it outside, it's just so much cooler. Or just, we're ready to go. It's, May can't come soon enough. We're ready to race this thing. Hopefully we get to test it a couple more times before we race it. So a bunch of neat stuff coming up for getting this car back out in the desert, and just can't wait for it. Well, I have a license plate. I have registration. I have insurance. I have a front license plate. Should probably take care of those zip ties. I have used painter's tape to cover up the amber light. Hopefully not blinding fellow motorists. I should be able to use the hand signal. Have brake lights. I'm pretty sure it's street legal. Good luck in class 1. I'm gonna admit, driving that class 5 down to the store and picking some parts up was pretty dang cool. It gets a lot of luck just because I can. I should probably run the Baja down the road one more time. Kind of warmed up now. right, guys, it should be the last few minutes of working on this thing before I go take it for a quick drive, seat the brakes, then come back, make sure the brakes are in adjustment and that I didn't get the wheel bearings too tight or too loose. So we'll do that here in just a second. At some point, we are really gonna have to work on this gate size. It's not fun to show this. This is pretty damn embarrassing. What I did is I didn't tighten down the lug nuts enough. Even though I was only running down the road a few miles, I thought I hit it with the gun hard enough. I didn't check it with a torque wrench like I always do, because I was just gonna see if my hubs were too tight. But well, that tire fell off driving down the road. Luckily it didn't go off and hit anybody. It just rolled off, and I rolled up over it with the fifth wheel. So never done anything quite like this. I've had one backing accident with an RV before, and really no other accidents. So this one hurts a bit. I think this is all I'm going to do today is put this tire on. I think I'm going to put this camera away. I think I'm going to go cuss a lot. So thanks for watching.